Can you make a decision, please?
Yeah, we're waiting. Everybody is waiting. Everyone's frustrated. I can tell you that.
Aaron Rodgers is the biggest story in the NFL right now. Free agency is wrapped up. There's a couple signings here. Quarterback gets more attention than anything. And I feel like people are hating on Aaron Rodgers because right now he has the most power that he has had since he decided to join the New York Jets from the Green Bay Packers. You have Colin Cowherd saying Rodgers is holding teams hostage. You also have frustration about how he needs to hurry up and pick a team. And what this all centers around is the fact that recently we had it be known that Rodgers is on the stroll of a beach in Southern California, pondering his NFL future, trying to decide where he wants to go. So Rodgers pondering his decision, and this has frustrated a lot of people, wanting him to make a decision already. He's holding it up because last time he had to make a decision about whether or not he would stay and play with the Green Bay Packers back in 2023, or is he going to be traded to the New York Jets or retire? People are so pissed that he's back in this opportunity where these teams are waiting on him. They're waiting on him and trying to figure out what the hell he wants to do so they can then decide what they want to do. But I'm not going to hate on him for doing that. I'm not going to hold that against him. I think that these people in the NFL media, and I'm going to show you guys some stuff, I think they're just jealous. They're just jealous of the fact that right now the Pittsburgh Steelers are extremely desperate. They let Fields walk. They already let Russell Wilson test free agency, so you can't bring Russ back after you basically rejected him. And the Giants, I mean, unless they think Shador is the answer, which they clearly don't because they were begging for Matthew Stafford, going to pay him $55 million a year, and now they're begging for Aaron Rodgers and just had a meeting with Russell Wilson. So these two teams in particular are so desperate for Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers had all the power in the world before he joined the New York Jets. Jets had to give up some draft capital, right? And then he took a team-friendly deal. You got to give him some credit for that. But everybody wanted this guy, and everybody was waiting for this guy. And we were trying to figure out what's going to happen with this darkness retreat. And that's where Rodgers had to go there in the darkness and contemplate his future, right? And now he is basically in the same situation where they're waiting on this guy.
You make a decision, please. The New York Giants awaiting word from Aaron Rodgers. And, while they've waited, while they've made their pitch, while they've told Rodgers, this is why we want you, I don't get the sense the money would be the hang up here. The fact that he has Malik Neighbors who can come in and be just an immediate star with him, an immediate top target.
There's reports out there that Rodgers actually wants to go to the Vikings because the Vikings are relying on JJ McCarthy right now. That dude got injured and missed the whole year last year, and Sam Darnold had to step in. That can happen again. Like, unfortunately, in the NFL, when a player suffers that kind of injury, it just makes you concerned. Is it going to happen again? Is it likely to happen again? And this is something that you can't control. You want to have a good backup quarterback anyway. But the Vikings are loaded right now, man. They have signed so many great players. The Commanders D lineman, who I really like, man, Jonathan Allen, they grabbed him, re-signed Harrison Smith, kept Byron Murphy Jr., brought back Aaron Jones, the running back, stole the Colts center, Ryan Kelly, and you grabbed Jonathan Allen, which I think is a monster at the defensive line, and Javon Hargrave. This is a team that's loaded. You got Justin Jefferson under contract, so you're going to tell me this team wants to go in the year naked with only JJ McCarthy and just, let's just hope the guy who was injured all last year doesn't get injured again, and then we got no real backup plan. Like, to me, you'd much rather just plug in Rodgers, compete, try to recreate that Sam Darnold magic he had last year, and then if he gets injured or crap the bed, then rely on JJ McCarthy. And that kind of would probably give JJ McCarthy a little more confidence then.
Yeah, we're waiting. Everybody is waiting. Everyone's frustrated. I can tell you that. I feel like the New York Giants are almost at a point right now where they're just ignoring it and they're just trying to find another plan in case this doesn't work out. I think the Steelers don't have as many options. I mean, they'll obviously go find someone if Aaron Rodgers decides not to play for them, but they're in a position where they're just waiting. And
this is what I'm talking about, though. These people are just so pissed that Aaron Rodgers is holding it up and he's got all the power, bro. Like, this, if you're the Steelers, like we said, what are you going to do? Bring back Russ with his tail between his legs after you kicked him to the curb? Or you're going to draft Shador and you're going to expect that to work out? I mean, come on. If you're the Browns, what are you going to do? You got Kenny Pickett under contract. You think your fans are really going to believe you're going to compete this year with Kenny Pickett as your starter? starting quarterback. I mean, they should have kept Jameis Winston if you're going to do that. You're the Giants. I mean, you're about to be fired. If you're the Giants, at this point, you are already fired. Brian Daboll, Joe Schoen, the way that I look at it, people go, oh, they're on the hot seat. No, they're not on the hot seat. They are already, in a symbolic way, they are already fired, and they have to just prove this year why they should not be fired. It's already like 70% fired when you got your owner saying this is your last year. So these insiders are just pissed. We're like, dude, Rodgers can get $45 million a year right now if he really wants. If Rodgers isn't trying to go to the Vikings and he just wants to get the most money, he will get $45 million a year. Now, he's not going to get that on a multi-year deal. He will get that on a 1-year deal for sure. It's not going to be a multi, but he will get $45 million to play this year if he really wants to just choose the most money. Now, if he's going to prioritize winning, obviously he should go to the Steelers or maybe the Vikings, right? That's what Rodgers should do. But he's got all the power, baby.
No one has had a lot of, there's not been a lot of communication with the player directly, despite the fact that contracts have been discussed, the structures of them, the money. And in the meantime, you've got the Minnesota Vikings here lurking, and they haven't made a decision just yet. They've had conversations over the last few days about whether or not they really want to do this.
Yeah. So Rodgers, he's at the center stage, and we're all waiting to find out what the hell is this guy going to do. So we know the Steelers grabbed DK Metcalf. Steelers traded a 2nd-round pick for him, and now he's on the Steelers team, making $30 million a year.
What's up, Steelers Nation? DK Metcalf here. Can't wait to put on the black and gold. Just once, shout out to my agent and mini agent, Grayson and Joe Kills, for helping me put all this together. Shout out to my beautiful fiance, man, for being here with me. But can't wait to step on the field, man, with the rest of the Black and Gold Nation.
Russell Wilson's great friends with DK Metcalf. Found out about the marriage early and all that. Like they're really good friends. So DK Metcalf would obviously like to play with Danger Russ. But like I said, I think that's a little too awkward for this guy to lead after you pretty much ghosted him in free agency. And you see Russ give a shout out to DK and his fiance, him getting engaged there. So you got that relationship. But if you're the Steelers, you are now paying. You don't want to end up like the Raiders with Devontae Adams, where the Raiders did the stupidest thing where you have this receiver for 2 years. I'm talking about mainly 23 and 24, and you don't have a QB for him. And it's like, what is the point in paying this receiver like $30 million a year when you don't have a quarterback for him? It doesn't make any sense. You got to have yourself a Joe Burrow. You got to have yourself at least a Geno Smith and Derek Carr for it to be worth it. And the Steelers might end up in the same situation. And this is kind of like the Vikings situation until they grabbed JJ McCarthy when they were kind of in limbo last year, relying on Joshua Dobbs. Kirk Cousins was injured. Not last year, but in 2023, where you're going to be giving $30 million to your wide receiver and you don't have a quarterback. So the Steelers now, they have to get Aaron Rodgers. They have to get somebody like that of that caliber, because no rookie QB besides Cam Ward is going to make it work with this guy in year one. And then you just wasted $30 million, right? And we already know, dude. We already know Mike Tomlin likes himself some Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he has said positive things about the guy. People joked around about them flirting when they were playing around about the timeouts. Tomlin called a timeout before Rodgers was able to snap the ball on a hurry up. I believe that's what happened. And they had a little flirt, and the media was going crazy on this time. Like, man, why is Tomlin flirting with Rodgers? Is he about to go to Pittsburgh? And this was in 2021. So this has been a thing for some time. And I think it's going to happen. I think they got to make it happen. I think what we're waiting on right now is whether or not, and here's another one, bro. I did not even know this one. So they had more where they're kind of making some faces at each other.
First charge, timeout. Pittsburgh, 30 seconds. First charge, timeout the field. First charge, timeout. Pittsburgh, 30.
A little sideline flirting between, Mr. Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers there. I think what's happening right now is Aaron Rodgers is going to use his leverage. He's going to act like he's stuck on the beach, and he can wait on this beach all day before he figures out what the hell he's going to do. And then I think, bam, he's going to just sign the contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe they get him at a discount at like $35 million a year. I think it's going to be expensive, and I think he's using the Giants, Browns as leverage, and he's also using the Vikings as leverage, where he's sort of like, hey, I would definitely take less money to play with the Vikings. I mean, why the F not? Why the F not? I would definitely use that as leverage there. And some say the Vikings say it's literally 50-50 whether Rodgers signs with the team. And look, maybe the NFC North could be vulnerable. A lot of pressure is going to be on the Bears with Ben Johnson. A lot of pressure on the Lions. How are they going to do without Ben Johnson, without Aaron Glenn at the coordinator position? But there's pressure on two teams, pressure on the Packers after making the playoffs, pressure on Jordan Love. And I feel like the Vikings, if they grab Rodgers, it's actually kind of low pressure because you got a loaded team and you got the young guy in the background. So, hey, if things don't work out, at least we're developing McCarthy and we're good to go. And we'll try to really hit the ground running in year 3, year 4, and the 5th year option with JJ McCarthy. So 50-50. Vikings could also pull the trigger. But I think at the end of the day, the biggest story amongst all of this is the NFL media just hates Rodgers because he was immunized, right? Like that, they just go after this guy and overly criticize him nonstop. He's holding up these teams. Dude, he's weighing his options because it's a pretty freaking big decision. It's going to be the last contract he signs in his Hall of Fame NFL career. And I'm sorry if he's going to take a little extra time deciding that. It's not about that. They don't give a shit that he's taking time. The NFL insiders just hate the fact that he's got his beliefs. He's got his views on things that are different than some people, mainly than one big party. And that's what this is all about. And it kind of sucks because I really wish this was more complicated than just politics. I really wish there was more to this. And, you know, there's actually something else, you know, why people don't like Rodgers. But unfortunately, I think it is just that simple. ESPN doesn't like Aaron Rodgers because he likes RFK. There you go. I said it. Is that controversial? We all know that's what this is all about. And until these people on ESPN and different media heads like Diana Rossini, which I think she's a great reporter, but I just think the frustration towards Rodgers is misguided. And until these people just change a little bit, and let's try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and let's try to push people's beliefs aside from that, and let's try to figure out what's actually going on here, right? Until people do that, we're never going to be able to figure out what these teams are thinking, what this player's thinking, what are the motives, and what's really going on here. If you're so blinded by that, how are we supposed to figure out these tough NFL negotiations when you got that block in the way? So I think it's unfortunate. I really do. So this came out this morning, which was Jeremy Fowler. I mean, this is basically ESPN saying Rodgers does have standing offers from the Steelers and the Giants. Teams are waiting it out. And the feeling is there's not just a money consideration here. There's fit, there's surroundings and all those things. Because Rodgers has cash, dude. I mean, he has plenty of money. Vikings are sort of on the periphery here. It's possible they get involved with Rodgers, but the feeling this week has been probably not. They want to develop JJ McCarthy. Vikings want to take that risk, dude. If I'm the Vikings, I need a backup plan for JJ. I mean, the guy was out all last year. If I'm them, I need something. And Joe Flacco is not going to be enough. I need a big backup plan. If I'm the Vikings, we got to figure some shit out, dude. So they seem like they're out. We'll see what happens. If I'm Rodgers, I want the Vikings. If I'm the Vikings, I should want Rodgers, but they're not seeing it that way. They are not seeing it that way right now. I like JJ too. I like JJ as a prospect. I'm just saying, dude, you got a Super Bowl roster right now. You really want to watch this guy go out, and then you're like, oh, damn, probably should have grabbed Rodgers for at least a 1-year deal, 30 mil, 35, fully guaranteed. Maybe he goes lower for the Vikings compared to the Steelers. He might go 25. You know, he might just say, F it, dude. I mean, he took a team-friendly deal for the Jets.